Hey, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my reading journey. Hope you're all doing fine, and today we get a new story. It's Roads of Destiny. The story starts with the verse, so let's begin. I go to seek on many roads what is to be, true heart and strong, with love to light. Will they not bear me in the fight, to order shun or weird or mauled? My destiny. Unpublished poems of David Magnat. The song was over. The words were David's. The air, one of the countryside. The company about the inn table applauded heartily. For the young poet paid for the wine. Only the notary, M. Popinel, shook his head a little at the lines, for he was a man of books, and he had not drunk with the rest. David went out into the village street, where the night air drove the wine vapor from his head, and then he remembered that he and Yvonne had quarreled that day, and that he had resolved to leave his home that night to seek fame and honor in the great world outside. When my poems are on every man's tongue, he told himself, in a fine exhilaration and exhilaration. She will perhaps think of the hard words she spoke this day, except of roisterers in the tavern. The village folk were abed. David crept softly into his room in the shed of his father's cottage and made a bundle of his small store of clothing. With this upon a staff, he set his face outward upon the road that ran from Vernoy. He passed his father's herd of sheep huddled in their nightly pen. The sheep he had herded daily, leaving them to scatter while he wrote verses on scraps of paper. He saw a light yet shining in the Yevon's window, and a weakness shook his purpose of a sudden. Perhaps that light meant that she rued, sleepless, her anger, and that morning might, but no, his decision was made. Vernoy was no place for him. Not one soul there could share his thoughts. Out along the road lay his fate and his future. Three leagues across the dim moonlight champaign ran the road, straight as a plowman's furrow. Plowman's furrow. It was believed in the village that the road ran to Paris, at least, and this name the poet whispered often to himself as he walked. Never so far from Vernoy had David traveled before. The left branch, the title says. Maybe no. 3 leagues, then the road ran, and turned into a puzzle. It joined with another and larger road at right angles. David stood uncertain for a while, and then took the road to the left. Upon this more important highway were imprinted imprinted in the dust wheel tracks left by the recent passage of some vehicle. Some half an hour later, these traces were verified by the sight of a ponderous carriage mirrored in a little brook at the bottom of a steep hill. The driver is postilions. Postilions. Driver and postilions were shouting at tugging at the horses' bridles. On the road at one side stood a huge black-clothed man and a slender lady wrapped in a long light cloak. David saw the lack of skill in the efforts of the servants. He quietly assumed control of the work. He directed the outriders to cease their clamor at the horses to exercise their strength upon the wheels. The driver alone urged the animals with his familiar voice. David himself heaved a powerful shoulder at the rear of the carriage, and with one harmonious tug, the great vehicle rolled up on solid ground. The outriders climbed to their places. David stood for a moment upon one foot. The huge gentleman waved a hand. "You will enter the carriage," he said, in a voice large, like himself, but moved by art and habit. Obedience belonged in the puff of such a voice. Brief as was the young poet's hesitation, it was cut shorter still by a renewal of a command. David's foot went to the step. In the darkness he perceived dimly the form of the lady up on the rear seat. He was about to seat himself opposite when the voice again swayed him to its will. "You will sit at the lady's side." The gentleman swung his great weight to the forward seat. The carriage proceeded up the hill. The lady was shrunk, silent, into her corner. David could not estimate whether she was old or young, but a delicate, mild perfume from her clothes stirred his poet's fancy to the belief that there was loveliness beneath the mystery. Loveliness beneath the mystery. Wow. Here was an adventure such as he had often imagined, but as yet he had no key to it, for no word was spoken while he sat with his impenetrable companions. Impenetrable companions. In an hour, David perceived through the window that the vehicle traversed the street from some town. Then it stopped in front of a closed and darkened house, and the physician alighted to hammer impatiently upon the door. And a physician alighted to hammer impatiently upon the door. A latticed window above flew wide, and a night-capped head popped out. Alright, guys. I think we're gonna stop for today and continue with the second part tomorrow. Thank you for joining me today. See you tomorrow. Bye.